Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today's video is a creepy little story by the author Jackson Arthur, and their links will be down below. And I just wanted to take the time to thank you guys for being a part of my spooky little family here on YouTube. I am just so grateful for every one of you who have subscribed and commented on my videos and liked my videos and shared them. You guys just really, you mean the world to me, and I just want to thank you for being a part of my little channel here. And if you haven't subscribed already, I would love to have you. If you want to hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so that YouTube will let you know every time I upload a new video. But now it's time to get cozy, get comfortable, because it's about to get creepy. The Devil Down Below by Jackson Arthur. The devil comes for the bad little children. He waits under their bed for them to fall asleep and then grabs their little feet. He grabs their little feet and he drags them down below, down under the bed and all the way to hell, where bad little children will burn in a lake of fire forever and ever. I heard my mama's voice in my head as I walked up the field toward the little garden all the way in the back 10. My little sister Lila stayed a couple of feet behind me. She was skipping, her tiny feet bouncing in the tall grass. Light as feathers, my mom always said about Lila. The night was coming, but the sun was still up. The day was a hot one, but luckily there was a cool wind blowing through the field. I walked slower than I should so that I could feel the wind on my face. It dried my sweat, and it felt mighty good. Lila was trying to talk to me. Her voice sounded like fast gibberish and insect chirps, because all I could hear were my mama's warnings. The devil comes for little children who are bad and drags them down below. My mama always tells me things like that, things that should scare me and make me want to be a good boy. I ain't no dummy though. I am smarter than she thinks, and I know that those things, devils and angels, heaven and hell, are nothing but pretend. They're made up, fake, and I don't know why people ever believe in such nonsense. But I pretend to. I go to church every Sunday morning, and I sit next to Mama. Sometimes my pa comes too, sometimes he don't. Like a good little boy, I follow along in the good book, and I stay awake whenever Preacher Wilson talks a little too long about nothing at all. I stand when Preacher says to stand, I sit when Preacher says sit, and I sing whatever he tells me to sing. I pretend that I believe in their stories. I'm sad when Sodom and Gomorrah turns to fire and ash. I praise Jesus when the Messiah cures the blind and raises the dead. And I'm scared about the end of days and all the craziness that the world will see in the end of all things. I fake all of that so that my mama thinks I'm a good boy. But that's all pretend, like I said, because I ain't no good boy. Never a day in my life. I don't want to be a good boy. No, that ain't true. It's not that I don't ever want to be good, I just know that I'm bad. I just do bad things sometimes. I drank a beer once when my mama and pa were sleeping. I took it up on the hill and drank it as fast as I could. It made me feel funny, but in a good way. I threw up, but that's fine. I cheated on a history test in school. Someone stole the answers from teacher, and I bought one with $3 that I took from Mama's purse. Mama just thought the money fell out of her purse sometime and never made a big fuss over it. I found a bird once with a broken wing. It was easy to catch because it couldn't fly away. I bashed its head against a tree and watched its little brains spill out everywhere. I started plucking all its feathers off, but then I changed my mind. I was going to make a fire and cook it, but I was already bored, so I threw it into the bush and went back home. I can't say why, but 3 days ago, walking up the long field on my way to the garden, her voice bothered me more than any time before. I heard it over and over, like it would never leave me be. It would never give me a bit of peace. The devil comes for little children who are bad. But that can't be true. The devil never came for me. And sometimes I did those bad things just to see if Mama's devil was under my bed to drag me down below. But he never was. Yet. I could hear Lila start humming something to herself when we got within sight of the back 10 in the little garden. It sounded like a hymn from church. She was always humming hymns like Mama. Amazing grace, old rugged cross, how great thou art, nothing but the blood. Mama's garden wasn't ever much to look at, a square piece of dirt with a rickety wire fence around it, but it is my mama's pride and joy. She likes to grow enough tomatoes, carrots, green pepper, corn, and green beans so that we can eat them freely when they're growing and still have a bunch to can in the winter. Mama loves to can her vegetables, almost as much as she loves her church and her Jesus, and she spends hours and hours in the spring and summer tending to her garden. There have been a bunch of jackrabbits this season, though, that have found my mama's garden. Pa ain't built the fence tall enough or deep enough in the dirt to keep them out of the vegetables. And once jackrabbits are let in, they never leave peacefully. They're like tiny demons. This evening, Pa sent me up to the garden with a rifle to get rid of some jackrabbits for him. He was too tired and 7 cans deep into the beer, or he would have gone done it himself. I was fine doing it for him. Wasn't the first time I killed some jackrabbits. I love to kill little bastards when I can. When me and Lila got as close as I needed to the garden, I stopped. And I told Lila to stop too and shut her mouth. I didn't need her skipping about or humming, scaring away any jackrabbits that might be feasting on our mama's pride and joy. I told Lila to stay put, and I started walking slowly toward the garden. I raised my .22 rifle to get it ready, just in case any jackrabbits spotted me and tried to run. I was aiming the rifle at the garden, watching for any jackrabbits that might be running around between the corn stalks, when I looked back at Lila to make sure she'd stayed way back like I told her. It looked like the sun was sitting right on top of her shoulders. The light was shining right on top of her body. It was like she was glowing, like the Lord Jesus was shining his light right on top of her. If you believed in him, anyway. My sis was 3 years younger than me, and as my mama said, she was an angel on earth. Long, wavy blonde hair, bright blue eyes, flawless skin, perfect grin. She brightened up the world. Angels are a gift from the Lord Jesus. They are part of him on this earth, and they are given to us to make our lives better. They lift us up when we have fallen. They brighten all that is dark in our world. And when we die, they take us up to heaven to be with the Lord Jesus forever and ever. And right then, I swear that she looked like an angel to me, too. Where I was bad, I knew, right then, that my sister was good. Lila was the only one to ever hug our mama when she cried. I always seemed to make Mama cry even harder. Lila was the only one who could make our pa smile. I always seemed to make him madder and fussier than a rattlesnake. As far as I know, Lila never stole, cheated, or hurt a fly. I heard something moving in the garden. I looked away from Lila and back down the sights of my rifle. I could see the fur of a jackrabbit going for the rows of carrots. Little bastard wouldn't be eating a single damn one. I followed it with the tip of my rifle and waited for the little bastard to stop moving. I could see its little ears bobbing up and down and its little butt moving all around on the ground. I held my breath for nearly a minute, 'cause I didn't want the jackrabbit to hear me breathing. When it stopped to take a bite of carrot, I fired 2 fast shots, and then I ran to the garden and hopped the rickety fence. One shot missed, but one shot hit the bastard right through its hind end, put a hole clean through. When I got to it, I could see it was trying to drag itself away. Its back leg wouldn't work. It was making a trail of blood through the dirt. I stood for a short bit and watched it crawl. Its eyes got real wide when it saw me, but it couldn't crawl fast enough to get away. I dropped the rifle and grabbed it up by its neck. I could have shot it again, but I didn't. I grabbed its neck tight with both my hands and I squeezed. You would think a jackrabbit had a weak neck, but it don't. I had to squeeze real hard. And I didn't know jackrabbits scream. But as I choked it to death, its eyes wide and popping out its head, it screamed louder than any person I knew could. It sounded like a little girl dying. The harder I squeezed, the louder it screamed, until the bones snapped. I'd done forgotten about Lila. I'd been too busy killing. But then, when the jackrabbit died, I heard my sis start to scream. She had watched me kill, and she saw that I was being bad. The little angel, eyes full of fear and tears. She was afraid of me. I heard my mama's voice again in my head. Angels are a gift from the Lord Jesus. I don't remember dropping the dead jackrabbit or picking up the rifle from the dirt. The devil comes for little children who are bad. I sighted the rifle on Lila and thought about what would happen if I were to kill an angel of the Lord Jesus. What could be more bad than that? The devil will have to come for me, right? And if he ain't coming to get me for it, then none of it's real. Like I said all along, it's all pretend. Stories is all. I fired. Lila stopped screaming. A bit of blood shot out from her neck as she fell down like a sack of wet dirt. I dropped the rifle again and ran over to her. Bright red blood was pouring from her neck where there was a large hole. Lila wanted to talk, but her voice would never work again. No more gibberish or insect chirping. No more humming hymns. I got down in the tall grass next to her and watched her laugh empty onto the ground. There was a glow in her eyes like fire, and I almost believed in church. But the fire went out. She didn't grow wings and fly away like an angel. No angel came down to lift her to heaven. She just died. I looked up into the sky and silently challenged the Lord Jesus. Come take your angel. Smite me for being bad. Smite me for killing your light. If you're real, do it. But he never did. I told my mama and pa that it had been an accident. I ain't mean for it to happen. Lila spooked me and the rifle shot by mistake. I ain't mean for it to happen. I swore. But Lila got hit in the neck and there was nothing that I could do to keep her from bleeding and dying. It was too fast. We buried Lila this morning. I made Mama cry more than I ever had before. She won't leave her room. I can still hear her crying through the walls. I don't know how many cans of beer my pa has drunk today, but it's way more than I ever saw. He gone into the woods a while ago. He couldn't walk all that good. He took his shotgun. I don't know where he was going or when he will be back. They still love me, but they hate me, too. I don't know if they believe me about Lila. I think they might know that I'm bad. I'm in bed right now and I can't sleep. The sun is gone and my room is black. I can't see anything at all. If Lila was light, then I guess I'm the other thing. Darkness. Something is under my bed, moving around. It tries to be quiet, but I can hear it scratching the wood on my floor. I don't know what it is, and I'm afraid to get down and look. Maybe a jackrabbit had gotten in. One never has before. Maybe one has. But I never heard a jackrabbit hiss like this. Or maybe I'm wrong. If I look, maybe I'll see the red eyes of the devil. If I get too close to the edge of my bed, maybe his red hand will grab me and sink his black nails into me and drag me down below, where I will burn in a lake of fire forever and ever. Maybe. I curl up in the middle of the bed and begin to pray, and I will keep praying until the sun comes back and the light returns, just in case I'm wrong.